Hello everyone, this is Kelly Henderson with my classroom design project. For this, I decided to look up some options for free online modeling tools just to try something new, and I stumbled upon this thing called Autodesk Homestyler, homestyler.com. It has a couple of free tools. It lets you um, do a 3D design of a room, and you can even upload your own photo as a background, like to design an existing empty space. And it seems to also have a 3D floor planner, which I didn't use, but thought that might be a cool tool to use in the future. So decided to just experiment with this tool. Um, it makes you sign up for the website, but it's um, free to use, and it's a pretty cool thing. Hopefully you'll be able to see that as I kind of walk you through my classroom. So my vision for a classroom culture is a place where group work is highly valued, where things are very highly student-centered and respectful to everyone in the room, and a place where play and fun are of great importance, um, and where everything around you inspires a sense of wonder, of creativity, and really fosters interdisciplinary thinking. So, how does my space that I've designed here start to do all of that? Here's the aerial floor plan. And so what we have in here, there is very intentionally chosen flexible furniture. So each of these group workstations are made up of two different desks that can obviously be moved around and reconfigured into a different design. The chairs are swiveled chairs with wheels on them so that they move easily and so that students can swivel to face each other or swivel to face the teacher or what have you. In this particular space, there's like a reading area or a casual hangout space with some area carpeting and beanbag chairs. It's kind of surrounded by all these indoor plants, and so that kind of helps to create these isolated spaces using some greenery inside as barriers. Um, and then down in the bottom of the classroom here, there are some stools, and I thought it might be cool too if these were tree stumps for the purpose of this fifth grade classroom that I'm thinking of for my ELA outdoor classroom design unit. And then there are a couple of things that surround the classroom on this bottom wall, some bookshelves, um, some stations where you actually have audio-visual equipment and the ability to record videos, to record podcasts, a bunch of arts and crafts supplies neatly stored, maybe a little pet or a butterfly garden, or maybe an aquaponics unit so that we have some science going on, even if it's informally in our ELA classroom. And then you'll notice that there are a lot of windows. I know we don't necessarily always have control over that, but there are a lot of windows, I think, in an ideal classroom. Lots of daylight to inspire greater focus. Um, so just to quickly show you, this is a pretty cool tool over here on the left. If you click on this house icon, you can pick different types of rooms and then choose furniture from there. So I kind of poked around in here, and it doesn't come built to make a classroom, but if you go to the office furniture and then look at all the different types of office accessories, we could add some funky lamps. So it's a little bit like adult Sims, I guess. All right. Um, and another cool feature of this program is that you can actually click this button up on the top, and then you can visualize your classroom in 3D. And so we can kind of navigate around and rotate through and see that beanbag space and how much in the classroom of certain dimensions, what would this space actually look like? So again, this is my audio visual and podcast recording equipment. They didn't have like a microphone stand or anything fancy like that in the program. So those little boxes will have to suffice. All right, so that's one particular design, but like I said, it has a lot of flexible furniture, and I actually am hoping as part of creating this culture of student centrism that every year the students actually start the school year by redesigning the classroom itself. They're kind of given their project for the unit or for the year, and think about the types of skills and the types of physical space that supports the development of those skills, and then get to work together to choose how they want the classroom to be laid out each year themselves. I have a couple of pictures here of maybe how they might go about doing that, looking at maybe some classrooms around the world. Here's an entirely outdoor classroom space, um, or maybe looking at classroom spaces that draw inspiration from the outdoors, since this is an outdoor unit that they'll be focusing on. This is a classroom in India that I found online that pulls in a lot of natural elements. Here's a really awesome school, I think, in Bali. Again, they have also really flexible, movable furniture. And then also maybe looking at higher ed spaces or business schools or design schools, and thinking about how they can really have a space that fosters creativity. Um, so the desks that move around, and I know I've seen this at the Environmental Charter School, I would like to be whiteboard desks so that every space is a workspace without having to necessarily pass out any supplies. And you also may have noticed in my layout that I showed before that I actually didn't have any dedicated teacher space. There wasn't a teacher desk. I didn't really want that to be an isolated experience. And I'm curious to hear what you all think of that. I haven't really 100% thought it through, but I think it's kind of an intriguing idea. Haven't ever tried to do that as a teacher, so I'm curious to hear what you all think of that. As part of this design, kind of beginning design activity of coming up with, what they want their classroom to look like, I found this picture online too and thought, maybe they're even coming up with their own new furniture, or bringing something in that's creative from home that just kind of adds and builds to the space from year to year. This is a roller table made out of pallets, so it kind of is another opportunity to inject some more kind of mini design activities or collaborative work into this class or year launching activity. Alternatively, from using bean bags or area rugs, and you could have other sorts of hangout spaces for individuals or for groups to go and read, setting up a tent and then putting a bunch of comfy stuff inside of it. I thought these pillows that kind of look like rocks, hopefully your students don't fall asleep in them like that every single day, but I thought that might be a good way to pull another outdoor element inside into the classroom. So setting expectations and addressing discipline, along with kind of creating the classroom at the beginning of the year. I'm trying to go for ultimate democracy here in many ways. I'd like to set a behavioral contract and list of expectations together with students and hang it in a prominent location. Set individual goals. Maybe instead of having large floor plants or in addition to them, just to add more greenery to the space, and again bring some more science and some more of the outdoors to inspire this design project, this larger year-long outdoor space design project. maybe having the students plant and grow their own plant. At the same time they're setting their goals, their personal goals for the year. Maybe their plant is labeled with their goals, and you have a nice metaphor of the growth of the plant to go along with student goals setting. Um, this is a close-up. I know in the 3D design that I showed you, and I can toggle back to that in a second. They looked like stools, but you could bring a little bit of the outside inside by having tree logs as kind of that flexible group space stools that you could use for short lectures or anything else. Moving different items like this around the classroom for flexibility. But this one that I found online is, looks like it's put together with just some simple fabric and cotton and some thumbtacks even. So again, another little example of a fun mini design project that could kind of build on itself from year to year, and you can have students help you make these if they decide that this is something that they want in their classroom space. Part of fostering creative play and all of the design activities that are going to go on, group design activities that are going to go on in this space. A lot of the storage areas around the walls are not only for books, but also for natural materials that can be used for 3D creative design activities, and they may have collected these on the school grounds over the course of a number of years or over the course of a single year. And here's another just interesting way of storing equipment like that. And the walls, I think, should have a lot of inspirational quotes on them, or at least one or two or three hand-picked meaningful ones or personal messages from the teacher. I thought this was a nice one here. And this is just another method of goal setting and of having meaningful, long-term goal setting evidence of student work on the walls. This is an activity where students trace their arms, write their goals within their hand, decorate it, and use it to represent that they're reaching for the stars with their goal setting for the year. And the last thing that I would have decorating the walls for this kind of community-based and schoolyard-based design unit of a version of an ELA classroom is whether it's student created or historical or big GIS maps of the community, just to bring elements of the community into the classroom. So some of these maps could be created as part of the process of as they go through the school year. So there should be other examples of student work up on the walls that reflect the process and remind students of where they've come from the beginning of the year. So I think that I may have addressed everything at that point. I'm looking forward to hearing what you all think of this. Let me bounce back to the 3D design just for a second so you can kind of put back into context what I was just talking about. Let me zoom out a little bit, do a little bit of a rotation, and maybe you'll find that this is a useful tool for you for something. Maybe it seems a little bit more like a restrictive version of The Sims. I don't know. These bookshelves shouldn't be there. I don't know why they're hanging out in the hallway. But that's all I have on my classroom space. So looking forward to hearing your feedback, and thank you for watching my classroom design presentation.